I would say I have a port.
You have what?
I have a port, Port of Indiana.
Port of Indiana, okay.
Nobody else has that. So
Right.
I have a port.
Okay.
That would be my advantage in Porter County.
Okay. All right, Port of Indiana, major transportation hub, warehousing, logistics, fantastic. You know, there aren't too many other regions in the area, not within 300 miles, that can say they have the same thing. There are ports in New York, and there are ports in
Illinois.
Illinois. Are we competing with Illinois?
Nope. Not really.
Are we competing with New York? Okay. Not the ports.
Not the port.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I probably should have qualified that. We competed all with Illinois.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And New York, yeah, and California, and Tennessee,
Globally.
absolutely.
We can
Okay.
compete globally.
So what, no, I agree with you. So Port of Indiana is a plus. The ability to innovate and think outside, to think differently, okay? To innovate, to stand out. What else?
I think once you have your competitive edge, not just being satisfied, oh, we have this competitive edge, you have to continue to grow upon that competitive edge and, not just try and keep up with everybody else, set yourself apart, basically. I can bring this to the table and they can't.
Mhm.
Having that niche that you can do better than anybody else and
Okay.
being able to bounce off of that and grow into other things.
Okay, so the ability to negotiate. Because that's what that is. Because what you're saying, David, is that, okay, I can sell my region better than the other guy can. Sell his or her region, right? Okay. But what is it you're selling?
Well, I mean, we do have bad things and things like that when you say it's good or bad. You need basically negotiators that can sell the good as well as the bad and, turn that bad and show that that bad is an opportunity to be turned into good and things like that. I mean, that comes back against the art of negotiation, being able to cover the black with a white sheet and sell that. I think, the negotiation there is a huge part of it.
Okay.
And turn your bad into opportunities.
Okay. All right. Well, what else? What do we have that we can sell in this area? What is our? What's the advantage? What are the positives that we can sell? I guess that was the point I was trying to make. What are the positives that we can sell in this region? We got the port. We have innovation, way to think differently. We're going to stand out. We have our ability to sell used cars. No, we have our ability to negotiate. What else do we have?
We're known as the Crossroads of America, so I mean we're looking at the different roadways that we have, but also the trains.
We have infrastructure. We have location. Right? What do the real estate people say? The three most important things in real estate is location, 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 right? We have the location, right? So how can we use that to our advantage in this region? You're telling me it's a competitive advantage. Okay, how do we use it?
Well, we can utilize, the trains. We have, I'm in Chesterton. My office is in the Chamber of Commerce. We see about 90 trains a day.
I know, you hear them too. I know, I've been in that building.
That's the busiest piece of rail in the state.
It really is. Yeah.
It is. I mean, if we could use that to our advantage. I mean, I saw a thing of Humvees go by yesterday.
Yeah.
And we are the center of transportation for a lot
Okay.
of America. So
The trains ever stop in Chesterton?
Yes, sometimes, but not often.
Not often, okay. Is there warehouses in Chesterton that can load, unload, upload and offload trains right there, something like that?
Not in Chesterton. There's more, I think, Michigan City.
Michigan City has that, right? Of course. Okay, well, but by proximity, we have that advantage, right? Glencie's also near train tracks now, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah. I did not want that, but that's okay. It worked out well. So we do have those infrastructure hubs, okay, which is an advantage because you don't have that in Peoria, as much as we have that here, and so we can compete that way. So that's a plus, right? Anything else you could think of that may be a competitive advantage compared to other regions?
We've got all the major fiber optic trunk lines continentally going through this region.
Exactly, right? One of the 4 main trunk lines that go across the country. where the internet was born, where Al Gore invented the internet. You know, we have the 4 main trunk lines. One goes right underneath the Gary Chicago Airport and goes right through part of Lake County, Porter County, and LaPorte County. We have that. We should be able to tap into it. We haven't done that yet. There are lots of proposals to do that, but we haven't tapped into it yet. Okay? There's also some legal issues with that as well, as I recall. Someone owned, Verizon, I think, owned it for a while, but now I don't think they do. So now it can be purchased. The rights can be purchased. I remember reading that someplace, or was involved in I was in a meeting where they were talking about that, and it's like, okay.
Verizon or AT&T?
I think it was Verizon. I think Verizon had it.
It's very important, because it affects the cost.
Of course it does. Yeah. It was Verizon. I think Verizon bought one of the they bought SBC. That was part of AT&T, and I think that's how they got access to that cable. I think that's what this was a few years ago. So and I didn't really prepare that particular discussion, but I remember from this old brain, some meeting I was at years ago.
Also, natural gas goes right through our region.
Natural gas goes through the region, which usually should be a plus. Unless there's a mishap, but yes, it should be a plus, right? And you can see the terminals. You can see off of County Road 1000. Some of the they have some valves up there, some
There's
pressure
Canadian
valves.
companies, so you're a little bit suspect and vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and there was also a meth lab nearby too, so we won't talk about that. There was a property I looked at right along that road that there was really a meth lab inside there. That was interesting. I had to call the sheriff. Disregard that part of it. That's okay. Anyway, all right. So we've kind of identified some of our competitive advantages. Our what?
Our labor pool.
Our labor pool, exactly. Right now. What about our labor pool? I'm going to talk more about this in the next couple of weeks. But do we have a quality workforce here? Yeah, I mean, just in general, we have a good quality workforce. We really do. What is the #1 complaint of employers, though, with respect to the workforce around here?
Can't show up on time, can't pass a drug test, can't read.
So is that a quality labor force?
Well, you're talking about what percentage? Right?
Yeah, it's a relatively small percentage.
At
Right?
that point, you're talking about 7% of the labor force, has, workforce attitude problems or basic skills problems.
Right. So basic skills we could probably do something about. As far as attitude is concerned, that's a cultural thing. We'll have a hard time working on that. Basic skills we might be able to do something about with resources. But attitude goes back to having somebody like your dad kicking you to school, make sure you're doing your job. Yeah, those are the primary complaints that I hear from employers as well. Can't pass a drug test, can't show up to work sober, and can't pass just real basic reading and writing skills. We run into that quite often, usually in the manufacturing trades and construction trades too. As soon as a job comes up for, there's a new job, a new construction job, there's 400 people that are applying for a job, and quite a few of those, even though it's a small percentage of the labor force, quite a few of those refuse to take the drug test because they know what happened, that they would fail. So that is a problem. However, generally, the other 93% of our labor force is of high quality. Could we improve that quality? Absolutely. We can improve that quality with training and education, and we have to hit it at the lowest possible level initially, and then we can work on that. Do they have to go to college? Not necessarily. Can colleges be utilized to provide some of this training and education? Absolutely. Right? And we have a lot of colleges here. Nobody mentioned that. We have a lot of small colleges. IB Tech. We here at PNC